Hello, it is I. Now, a lot of car manufacturers have teased us in the past with some exciting concept cars, which in the future transformed into banging production cars, R35 GTR being a great example. But there have been so many crazy concept cars that some companies have teased, which have just been swept under the rug and forgotten about, like a 4-door Bugatti Veyron, a car you drive by standing up, a 16-cylinder BMW, oh hang on, I'm just spoiling the video here. So today I'll be going through 10 insane concept cars that never went into production, and boy do I mean insane. Now before getting into this video, make sure to subscribe down below. We're trying to hit 200k by summer this year, so make sure to join the family, and let's hit 4,000 likes on this video as well. Come on, we can do it this time. Thank you very much, and now let's get into number 1. The Audi R8 V12. When Audi first introduced the R8, it came with a 4.2 litre V8 engine, the same one used in the B7 Audi RS4. Soon afterwards, they introduced their iconic 5.2 litre V10. Now having a 5.2 litre V10 in an entry-level supercar already sounds like a lot, especially with the R8's rival being the Nissan GTR with only a V6. But did you know that Audi were working on a V12 Audi R8? Well, they were. However, Audi's only V12 at the time was a 6-litre twin turbocharged diesel that they put in their Audi Q7. So they tucked that into the R8 and called it a day. It produced 493 brake horsepower, 738 pound-feet of torque, and surprisingly, despite it weighing nearly 2 tons, it was actually pretty quick. It can go from 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds, which was quicker than the V8 R8, and it can go on to a limited top speed of 186 miles per hour, which is the same as the V8 R8. Of course, it being a diesel meant it can achieve much better MPG than the petrol variants of the R8, and all this with a 6-speed manual gearbox that the Q7 was not offered with. It seemed like a great supercar for enthusiasts, but of course it had its problems too. It was too expensive to produce, it was unreliable, and buying a diesel supercar over a petrol one is like going horse riding on a donkey. It's just wrong. So the concept was scrapped, and with diesel cars becoming a thing of the past, I highly doubt this would ever come into reality ever again. But you gotta give Audi props for this concept. It's absolutely insane. The BMW 750iL Goldfish. Car manufacturers implementing functional air ducts to their road cars has been a fairly common occurrence in the past. Peugeot did it, MG did it, Lancia did it, Renault did it not once, not twice, but 3 times. It was a common trend amongst hatchbacks of the time, so popular in fact that BMW wanted to join this gang. However, they didn't have a hatchback to do it on, so instead they got a 7 Series and gave it huge ducts near the rear wheels. Now having ducts like this on a refined 7 Series with a 5-litre V12 would have been very overkill, so BMW replaced the engine with a 6.7-litre V16 and moved all the cooling equipment to the back of the car to actually make the ducts functional. Yeah, I didn't believe this was real either. It produced around 400 brake horsepower, 613 Newton meters of torque, pushing the car to 175 miles per hour, which was unheard of for any car of the 80s, let alone a luxury saloon car. Unfortunately, it was scrapped due to the engine being too complex and there was no real market for it, but it is cool to see a concept like this from the late 1980s. The 16C Bugatti Galibier. In the early 1900s, Bugatti weren't known for making the fastest cars in the world. In fact, they were known for their luxury Grand Tourers, one of the most iconic ones being the Type 57 Galibier, a 4-door luxury sports saloon car. It started production in 1933 and stopped just before the 1940s. It was a car admired by Bugatti and classic car lovers. So in 2009, just a couple years after the Veyron was put into production, Bugatti revealed their brand new 4-door concept car, the Galibier 16C. It hosted the exact same W16 engine used in the Veyron, with a bespoke leather interior reminiscent to a yacht. It also had many weird quirks and features, such as a split open bonnet, the 8 exhaust tips, and a detachable clock on the center console which can be worn as a watch. Not even Rolls-Royce has this. Unfortunately, the Galibier was scrapped, and the reason why was because Volkswagen thought the Galibier was too ugly to be put into production, which I find very ironic because VW put this monstrosity into production and thought this was too ugly. I don't know about that one, chief. It's a shame that the Galibier was scrapped, but I do hope that Bugatti return to these sorts of cars, as I reckon there's a pretty big demographic for them. The Porsche Vision Renndienst. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. In 1971, Volkswagen and Porsche teamed up to make a van, and this was it. Yep, it's literally a Type 2 camper van with a couple of Porsche stickers. Then, almost 50 years later, Porsche decided to make a successor to the original one, but they wanted to make this one themselves, and this was the end product. The Porsche Vision Renndienst, I'm not going to pronounce that. It was an all-electric 6-seater all-wheel drive van, and it was rumored to have an autonomous driving mode, so it's pretty much a Tesla. That's gonna trigger a lot of Tesla fans. This van was leaked alongside many other Porsche concept cars, including a road legal 919, a Boxster Speedster, a new 911 Safari, but I had to go with the Renndienst because it's a Porsche van. What else is there to say? Imagine your local plumber rolling around in this thing over his usual transit van. It would have been amazing if this came out though, and I really hope Porsche do consider it, even though I can't think of a target audience for a brand like this. The Maserati Boomerang. The Boomerang is a concept car made by Maserati which was revealed in the 1971 Turin Motor Show. It was powered by a 4.7 litre V8 engine, producing 310 brake horsepower, and it was designed by Giorgetto. Yeah, I can't pronounce his name, I'm sorry. He was the man who designed the Giulia, the Lotus Esprit, and the DeLorean. And the car seems pretty normal, right? Well, that is the case until you step inside the car when you're greeted with arguably the most insane interior of literally any vehicle that's ever been produced on the planet. I mean, look at the thing. So if you do crash, then I'm afraid you may pass away. And that's why the Maserati Boomerang makes it onto this video. Yep, this car made it onto the list purely because of the steering wheel. However, this car was later brought into production as the Maserati Bora, which was completely different to the original Boomerang concept. They should have kept the interior though. The Peugeot Oxia. In 1988, Peugeot decided to turn their 405 family car into a supercar borderline hypercar. They called it the Oxia. It was powered by a twin turbocharged PRV V6 engine, very similar to the one that was found in the WMP88 Peugeot Le Mans car. It produced 670 brake horsepower, and paired with a 6-speed manual gearbox, it was able to reach a top speed of 217 miles per hour in a Peugeot. This made the Oxia faster than a Jaguar XJ220. In fact, it was the fastest car in the world, but because it was a concept, people didn't really care about it. However, if the Oxia did go into production, I'm pretty sure Peugeot would be on the level of Lamborghini or Ferrari today. At the time, they were making arguably the best hot hatchbacks of the time, and dominating the World Rally Championship. So imagine if they casually just released the world's fastest car after that. They'd be legendary. But ever since in 2006, Peugeot forgot about their legacy and started making mediocre family cars. Their new cars are pretty decent though. The BMW Gina. In 2001, BMW started working on their new sports car, and they finished and revealed it in 2008. They called it the Gina. Gina being an acronym that stands for Geometry and Functions in Adaptations. Yeah, I don't think BMW know how acronyms work. The Gina is pretty much a Z4 speedster. The car was very unusual looking, mainly because the body of the car was made out of an elastic, water-resistant fabric, meaning the doors are flexible, the bonnet opens up by unzipping itself, and the car genuinely has eyelids that open and close. And I don't think there's anything else to say there. BMW made a car that can literally wink. Are you dumb? It's a car that can wink. Forget pop-ups, we need more of these headlights. Look at it. The Honda Fuya-Jo. In 1999, Honda revealed a concept for a fully autonomous self-driving car. However, Honda didn't want this car to be targeted towards car enthusiasts, businessmen, or even families. They wanted to target party people. So with this self-driving car, they shoved a bunch of subwoofers into it, replaced the dashboard with an actual DJ set, and painted the car this sort of two-tone purple color. However, unfortunately, it was never brought into production. Now, with a lot of these concept cars, I was baffled on why they never sold them to the public. But with this Honda, I completely understand why. It's one of the most absurd concepts for a car I've ever seen, and Lord knows what happens if this car gets into the wrong hands. So as cool and as weird as it would have been to have this car be put into production, I think Honda did all of us a massive favor by hiding the Fuya-Jo from the public. The Toyota FV2. Now, if you saw this, you'd probably think that it's a washing machine or something, but it's a concept car made by Toyota called the FV2. It was made to give a physical and emotional connection between you and the car, which sounds very cringy, but I love the idea behind it. It has many unusual traits, like the weird four-wheel layout, the sat-nav that changes the route depending on the driver's mood, the futuristic digital display outside of the car. However, the most unusual one of them all is the fact that there is no steering wheel. You drive the FV2 by shifting your body, just like a motorcycle, or like you're wearing rollerblades. Now, I'm not sure why exactly Toyota scrapped the car, but I'm guessing it's to do with the safety concern. I mean, if you make a car that you drive by standing up with no seatbelts, you're not going to risk it and sell it to the public, are you? So it's a very cool concept, but very useless at the same time. Would be very fitting in movies though. The Lamborghini Estoque. In 2008, Lamborghini revealed their brand new concept car to the public. However, this new car wasn't the usual mid-engine two-seater supercar that Lamborghini are known for making. This was a 4-door, 4-seater luxury saloon car called the Estoque. It was the first time in over 20 years that Lamborghini made a front-engine car with 4 doors. So of course, it shocked a lot of people when it was revealed in the Paris Motor Show. It hosted a 5.2 litre V10 engine from the Lamborghini Gallardo, but there were talks that Lamborghini were considering giving it a V12 or a V8 or a hybrid engine or a turbo diesel, which would have been very weird. Unfortunately, the Estoque didn't reach the production plan planning stage in due time, delaying the car's release. And eventually Lamborghini decided to scrap the idea. So it is a shame that we didn't get the Estoque, but to be fair, we already have a car similar to it, the Audi R8, which shares a very similar engine to the V10 that was meant to go in the Estoque. So I guess we can't really complain. Though with the huge success of the Urus and Lamborghini's lineup, another 4-seater Lamborghini seems very promising. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do release an Estoque sometime in the future. And that is the end of the video. Now just before you guys go, may I remind you that way over half of you guys watching right now are not subscribed. So if you're one of them, then what are you waiting for? Subscribe down below. It's free and it's easy to do. Comment down below any other future videos you guys would like me to make, and I will catch up with you guys very soon. Until next time, have a good one guys, stay safe, stay inside. Until next time, cheers.
I never stacked lots, bro was in that trap moving crack rocks. I was bunking off school meeting mummy next to trap spots. And bro, she never had a clue, Jid, I don't wanna be like me, cause I just wanna be like you.